Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mayor Bell, Mayor Pro Tem Cole McFadden, members of the council, City Attorney Baker, City Clerk Ms. Gray, city staff that are here with us this evening, and residents of Durham here tonight, and those viewing either on DTV8 or possibly in a few days from now on demand. It continues to be my honor to be entrusted to lead this great organization and the over 2,400 city employees committed to service within the organization and throughout the community. I am pleased to be here before everyone this evening to officially present the proposed budget for the City of Durham for the 2013-2014 fiscal year. For years, we who live here have known that Durham is a great place to live, work, and play, and each year that fact is affirmed by visitors, national publications, and many other organizations. Just last month, the SMOFfice, the world's smallest office, received an international award for creativity and innovation from the World Chamber of Commerce. More significantly, this was the first time this award has ever been received by a city in the United States. I congratulate our partners at the Greater Durham Chamber of Commerce and Downtown Durham, Inc. for putting Durham's innovation and creativity on the global map. Among other recognitions, you may recall back in April, just last month, Durham was named the tastiest town in the South by Southern Living magazine, an acknowledgement that almost every one of us will agree with. Durham, with our more than 700 restaurants, shared company with other megastar destinations like New Orleans, Charleston, and Memphis, and we won. Thanks to our great and varied culture, but just as thanks to our great and varied cuisine, we got great culture, but we also have great cuisine, but just as important, thanks to the votes from Durham residents and visitors. I also want to take the opportunity to recognize the Durham Convention and Visitors Bureau for their great work to receive this recognition. Among the accolades used to describe Durham's food scene, diverse, affordable, healthy, sustainable, accessible, and of course, delicious. This year, as I thought about the Tasty Town theme and all the words to describe it, I thought it was analogous to developing a budget. Is it sustainable? That is, can we meet community needs for the long haul? Is it affordable? Do we have the resources to pay for our needs and wants? Is there diversity? Does it contain something for everyone? Is it healthy? Does the budget contain the right ingredients for proper development and growth? And as much as we would like something of everything on the menu, how do we select what ends up on our plate? The proposed budget attempts to answer these questions. Just as the Tastiest Town title was successful because of voter participation, the city's budget process also needed community participation. As in the past years, we listened to the elected officials and to the residents in many different ways as we prepared the budget. And I'd certainly like to take this first opportunity to again thank the Mayor and City Council for their guidance and participation from the beginning of the budget process, and certainly the residents who let us hear their voices along the way. And while Durham's restaurant scene is varied, the restaurants all have a strategic focus: great food and great service. Durham's strategic plan goals play a major role in driving the budget process for the city. These goals are supported by ingredients, programs, and services, if you may, that are measured to ensure that resources are used effectively and that decisions about the budget are based on data. The continued prioritization of programs aligned with strategic plan goals demanded that budget priorities and new programs clearly support improving the city's economy, community, neighborhoods, management, or its infrastructure. While in the end, it's all about the food, to be successful, great restaurants also have to be greatly managed, well managed. And that includes being properly financed, being creative with atmosphere and presentation, having great employees that provide great customer service, reducing waste to be cost effective. Well, you get the picture. So too, our commitment for being a well-managed city includes a highly engaged workforce that is committed to excellence, creativity, and service. We are an organization that works to provide cost-effective services and adheres to sound financial practices. Many factors determine a well-managed city, including cost of services, adequate resources to provide them, including fair and reasonable tax rates, along with responsible debt ratios, bond ratings, and reserves. This year's total budget, proposed total budget, is $381 million for all funds and represents a $7.8 million, or a little more than 2% increase over last year's budget. The proposed general fund budget, which provides for most of the city's core services, is almost $170 million, a decrease of a little more than $7 million, or about 4% from last year. This decrease is in large part the result of a new special revenue fund to better track the penny for housing tax enacted last year, and reclassifying tax revenues and related expenditures more appropriately into the debt fund. All told, after all these accounting adjustments, from a budget-to-budget basis, property and sales tax revenues, the largest percentage of revenues available to support general fund operations, are expected to be relatively flat, even in best-case analysis, because actual revenues are not even meeting this year's budget estimates. The most significant bright spot of general fund revenue picture is the projected growth in licenses and permits due to the significant increase in development activity and building permit reviews that we are seeing again this year, and we are expected to see next year. The recommended total property tax rate for next year remains at 56.75 cents per $100 of taxable value. The table shows how the property tax is to be allocated to cover property tax supported city expenses. This includes increased support for transit and a reallocation of support for debt-related expenditures, and of course the continued penny for housing. The proposed general fund expenditures include a small increase in personnel expenditures, a decrease in operating expenditures, and a sizable decrease in transfers as discussed in the tax rate comparison chart. The general fund, as I've said, is principally supported by property tax, sales tax, and the distribution of state collected local revenues. While the local economy is certainly on the rebound, an increase in these revenues to the anticipated levels has just not yet occurred. The sluggish revenue growth, coupled with continued increases in public safety costs and the decline in state and federal revenue sources to support existing transit services, have required that we look at other operations to reduce costs and balance the budget. As a result, the proposed budget cuts $1.5 million, including 16 positions from operating department budgets. 4 of these 16 positions are currently filled, and we expect that the affected employees will be transitioned to other comparable positions. The proposed budget continues to meet our general fund balance reserve policies, which are projected to be 12.15% at year end. The proposed budget also uses $300,000 of fund balance reserves for one-time expenditures. The city continues to enjoy an outstanding credit rating by all rating agencies, in part due to a debt ratio consistent with city policies that is projected to be at 14.32% next year, which is below the budget guideline of 15%. As mentioned earlier, city employees continue to excel and are at the core of the positive resident satisfaction results from recent surveys. It is fair and important that the city reward performance to maintain a competitive and motivated workforce. While it was hoped this budget would support reinstituting a more robust performance-based increase, unfortunately, current resources cannot support more than that over the last 2 years, which is a 2% increase for general employee pay plan and a 3 to 5% increase for the police and fire pay plans. While these pay adjustments are certainly in line with current inflationary guidelines, they in no way reflect what I believe our employees have earned. On a very bright note, the city's self-insurance plan, health plan, continues to perform at a very high level, and as a result, we are pleased that for the second consecutive year, there will not be a premium increase for health insurance. This is particularly noteworthy as health industry trends continue to reflect double-digit cost increases. Dental insurance premiums will, however, need to be increased by nearly 3%. Community partnerships contribute greatly to a well-run city. In Durham, partnerships between the city, county, and Durham Public Schools are critical to assure that to assure residents that resources are deployed efficiently, collaboratively, and without duplication. This past year, we saw the fruition of collaborations on our joint strategic plans to benefit the overall community. This proposed budget continues to build on our agreed-upon shared responsibilities, including warrant control, providing homeless services, gang reduction strategy, sustainability, connecting youth, school resources, and many other areas. Especially important this year, I am recommending the city partner with the county and Durham Public Schools to fund 2 new positions for the Durham system of care. These positions will support the challenges of at-risk youth and connect all youth in our community to educational and job development opportunities, as was recommended in the IBM Smarter Cities Challenge initiative that was completed last year. Promoting a strong and diverse economy through growth in business and industry, including small and entrepreneurial businesses, as well as employment opportunities, continues to be at the forefront of the menu in this year's budget. Continued signs of economic recovery can be seen throughout the community, from the continued resurgence of downtown's new restaurants, hotels, and residential options, to expansions on Duke's Medical Campus, to new vision for Research Triangle Park. It's not difficult to feel good about our progress and prospects. Yet we know many gaps remain to assure that economic progress and prosperity is shared throughout Durham. Business improvement grants are funded to boost downtown revitalization. This budget also includes funds for Paris Street improvements, including building enhancements and operating expenses and other neighborhood revitalization grants. The downtown bid is proposed to remain at 7 cents per $100 of assessed value and continues to generate positive reviews from downtown businesses and visitors. I would like to take this opportunity to highlight the Find Your Cool summer concert series that has begun downtown, bringing employees and Durham residents to the heart of downtown to enjoy great music and our restaurants, of course. I invite everyone downtown every Thursday night this summer to check it out. Connecting businesses to job seekers is another high priority. While we'll continue to provide services to businesses in partnership with the Greater Durham Chamber of Commerce, Downtown Durham, Inc., area colleges and universities, we'll also continue the JobLink Career Center partnership to train and connect potential employees to businesses seeking local talent. Unemployment is still too high for area youth, and to help remedy that, the newly branded Durham Youth Work Internship Program represents a broad-based community approach to provide jobs to youth. Special thanks to Durham County, the Durham Public Schools, the JobLink Career Center System, the Durham Workforce Development Board, and private sector businesses for helping expand this program. Arts and culture continues to be a great source of leisure and entertainment, as well as an important economic driver. In addition to the public-private partnership that operates the highly successful Durham Performing Arts Center without outside operating support, this budget also provides over $1.6 million to support the operations of other great arts and culture venues, as seen on the slide, as well as nationally renowned signature events and festivals. Continued funding for public art is also included in the budget. The city will also partner with the Cultural Advisory Board, the Durham Arts Council, and other local agencies on a North Carolina Arts Council SMART grant to develop a plan to use art to improve connectivity. A safe and secure community continues to be one of the community's highest priorities and uses the greatest share of available resources. Thanks to continued community involvement, as well as best practice public safety initiatives and partnerships, Durham's crime rate continues on a downward trend. At the same time, first response times for fire and emergency services have improved because of improved technologies and better deployment of resources. A new joint initiative to improve cardiac resuscitation rates is also showing significant results. While 3 administrative positions in the police and fire departments were eliminated in the budget, all of the sworn positions are fully funded. The budget includes funding for 16 police department positions that were previously funded by grants. It also includes a 911 systems manager that will be funded by existing telephone surcharges. Other items include new funding for additional staffing for forensics accreditation, and as you will see later on the capital improvement plan, design support for new police headquarters, new 911 center, new fire station in southeast Durham, and additional automatic vehicle locators on fire vehicles to improve response times. As mentioned earlier, this budget continues to fund public safety partnerships with Durham County. And I'm pleased to announce, based on statistics provided by Sheriff Andrews, that the 4-year warrant backlog elimination project, jointly funded by the city and the county, is expected to be successfully completed by the end of September. This budget fully funds the city's share to complete that project. This budget also begins to fund a new partnership between the city, county, and sheriff's office to provide ongoing warrant control support in the magistrate's office. The budget also continues a funding partnership with Durham County to support the Gang Reduction Strategy Initiative housed in the Criminal Justice Resource Center. Durham's underfunded criminal justice system continues to be a great challenge and burden. For a number of years, the city has directly provided or secured grant funding for a number of positions that otherwise would be funded by a properly funded judicial system. As federal and state-supported resource grants continue to dwindle, there is even more pressure to maintain these programs, which further strains available local resources for our core services. This budget provides funding for domestic violence judge and funding for an assistant district attorney for gang prosecution. Continued funding for other grant criminal justice positions that have or will expire over the next 2 years are not provided in this budget. Strong neighborhoods are the building blocks of a thriving and livable community and continue to be a high priority for Durham. While many Durham neighborhoods are satisfied with the services they receive from the city, we know that other neighborhoods need additional help and attention to become thriving and livable. In addition to existing programs to support and improve neighborhoods, such as code enforcement and affordable housing through the city's dedicated housing fund, a new initiative called the Neighborhood Compass is funded this year. The goal of the Neighborhood Compass is to collect data that provides key information to evaluate and improve the quality of life in our neighborhoods and the services we provide. It is built on a model that has proven to be successful in many communities nationwide and supports a key initiative in the strategic plan. Redevelopment within the Southside communities hit full stride this year and promised to deliver the first tangible fruits of decades of planning and efforts, as the first phase of mixed-income rental units at the intersection of Lakewood and Roxborough and the first phase of affordable homeownership units in the Southside St. Therese neighborhood are completed next year. This proposed budget provides for these initiatives in the 5-year housing funding plan. Changes are underway to provide improved transit services as a result of the Designing a Better Bus Service study. However, as voter-approved expanded bus service and rail plans begin to be implemented, we continue to be challenged by diminished resources and increased costs needed to meet our transit aspirations. As mentioned earlier, this budget includes an increase in property tax dollar allocation of approximately $1.2 million to pay for core transit services, bringing the total annual transit property tax allocation for data to almost $9 million. While maintaining the regular boarding fee at $1, this budget includes a proposed fare increase to the multi-day pass, all without reducing current routes or using any of the newly enacted motor vehicle fee charges for expanded service. These fare changes will generate an additional $371,000 to support closing the $1.6 million funding gap in data that we started with in transit. A public hearing associated with these fare changes will be held at the June 3rd City Council meeting. Fiscal year 2013-14 is a critical year for the city's transit system. While the management agreement with Triangle Transit has been very successful, for the financial viability and continued success in the long term, it is critical that a complete and fully funded transition plan be developed to assure that basic and enhanced services are properly funded. Over the last several years, the Solid Waste Management Department has continued to improve by pursuing efficiencies and cost-effective practices, as well as by identifying additional revenue-generating opportunities. The department is primarily supported by general fund tax revenues rather than a direct user charge. Fortunately, the overall general fund has benefited greatly from these cost-saving improvements. The department continues to pursue waste diversion as a principal goal and is seeing an increased interest in yard waste and recycling programs. The department will expand a program in the coming year called Operation Divert to increase recycling in underperforming areas of the city. As a result of new disposal agreements for household solid waste and recycling materials to be presented to the City Council at Thursday's work session, a new $3.4 million transfer station will be constructed by Waste Industries to improve transfer station operations. Unfortunately, the department continues to struggle with adequate resources to provide for a truck fleet that meets the daily demands to collect waste from over 80,000 households each week. In order to assure an available, dedicated funding source to provide for fleet replacement, this budget includes a solid waste capital recovery fee of $1.50 per household per month, beginning July 1st. For most residents, this charge will appear on their water bill. While this fee is new to Durham, we are one of the last cities in North Carolina to initiate a monthly charge for garbage collection services. The downtown and 9th Street parking study was commissioned this fiscal year to evaluate the parking resources and needs in these two important districts. The results will be presented to Council later this summer. This budget, however, does contain several of the recommendations in the study, including increasing the monthly fees for parking lots and parking decks in the downtown area beginning October 1st, as well as increased special event parking fees by $1 beginning July the 1st. These increased rates will generate an estimated total of $245,000 per year that would otherwise be required of the general fund to subsidize the parking fund. The parking study also identified the need for a full-time position to manage parking resources. These activities are currently managed only as time permits with existing resources, and the proposed budget includes this recommendation. Maintaining and managing physical and environmental assets to attain community goals is a critical component of our success. However, because these assets are sometimes less visible or can be very costly to maintain or improve, difficult decisions are often delayed due to more urgent operational funding needs. City has made significant strides to commit funding over the last several years to address long-standing physical asset deficiencies. This budget continues this progress, even though resource restrictions continue to keep us from reaching ideal spending patterns. Replacing and repairing aging water and sewer infrastructure while meeting increasingly stringent water quality regulations continues to be a high priority for the city. The rate increases recently approved by the City Council are included in this budget, and these increases will generate more than $3 million for water and sewer as well as stormwater improvements. This budget continues funding deferred maintenance projects at $500,000. A complete list of projects to be funded will be provided to the City Council during the upcoming budget work sessions. The completion of the 2010 bond paving program earlier this year significantly improved the condition of poor and very poor rated streets in our community. A new pavement condition survey is currently underway and will provide an updated look at the conditions of our streets. Despite continuing resource limitations, the budget does provide $750,000 for street repaving to meet expected needs. However, this is short of our initial budget goal of $1 million. This budget does include debt financing to acquire approximately $6 million worth of fleet vehicles, including police and fire vehicles. The capital improvement budget includes nearly $53 million for new projects or to complete existing projects. On this list, other projects deemed essential to the city's capital infrastructure needs are funded, many of which were referenced earlier in this presentation. I'm confident that this budget proposal represents a healthy, sustainable, varied, and affordable menu that meets Durham's needs and expectations. Just as in any dining experience, your thoughts are important. While we are not available for a critique on Yelp, questions and comments can be sent in a number of ways: by email, on the city's Facebook page or Twitter feed, or even by video submission on the city's YouTube channel. Here's your chance to let us know what you think. Then we'll respond to your comments and answer as many questions as we can during our live e-Town Hall event on Monday, June the 3rd, which will be aired on DTV8 and streamed on the city's website. In addition to our e-Town event, here are some other ways you can let us know what you think. Copies of the preliminary budget are available on the city's website, in the city clerk's office, and in the library branches. Also, later this year, of course, we'll conduct our 2013 resident satisfaction survey for more positive feedback about how we are doing. As we prepare for the 2013 resident satisfaction survey, we'll continue to strive to maximize satisfaction by allocating resources to the highest community priorities. Knowing that the results of the 2011 survey indicated that 3 in 4 residents in Durham believe the city was moving in the right direction, and that this level of satisfaction is up almost 25% from 2005, I'm confident that working together, we can find the right balance to optimize resources and priorities. But clearly, we cannot afford every item on the menu. As communities across the country continue to face unprecedented challenges, we are fortunate to live in a place that continues to lead, create, and innovate with incredibly engaged residents who have shown a great willingness to pay for what they believe in and value. I am confident that the proposed budget continues a commitment of innovation and improvement to help advance our community and meet the needs of all of our residents with transparency, stewardship, and fiscal responsibility. In closing, I want to iterate on behalf of the entire staff that we are honored to be entrusted with the stewardship of these community resources and to serve the residents of Durham. I continue to appreciate and value the close working relationship between the mayor and the city council, the city administration, and also congratulate all members of the council on your collegiality in which you conduct business and interact. Your political leadership and unselfish dedication to the Durham community are appreciated and at the same time inspiring. It has been some time since the city council was a complete body at meetings due to Councilmember Clement's extended illness. I spoke to Mr. Clement today and know that he is watching from home this evening. Last week, Councilmember Clement reached a 30-year anniversary mark on this city council, a milestone in his commitment of service to this community that should be recognized and celebrated. And Mr. Clement, I know you're still listening because you promised me you would be. And after hearing a city manager present a budget for the 30th time, I'm sure you have heard and seen it all. But I want you to know that we miss your presence and hope to see you back with us very soon. Most importantly, I want you to know that this great milestone was not missed or recognized because you could not be present on the dais this evening. Congratulations and thank you for this longevity of service to the City Council and to the community, and we hope you're feeling better soon. In closing, I want to give special recognition and thanks to the Budget and Management Services Director, Bertha Johnson, and the entire budget staff that's sitting in the front row over here, as they have been at the forefront of not just the budget development process, but also the continued execution of the strategic plan, the alignment of departmental strategic plans, performance management system dashboard, and many other process improvement initiatives this year. Thank you. And finally, I also want to acknowledge the work of Public Affairs Director Beverly Thompson, the entire Public Affairs staff, not only for their work on this presentation, but for all they do to present the city in nothing but the best image and transparent light. Together, we will continue striving to make Durham a place of excellence where great things continue to happen. Let's dig in. Thank you.
Well, as Tom comes back to the dais, I certainly want to thank him for presenting a well-articulated budget. I think it reflects many of the concerns and comments that we heard throughout this budget process, both from the community, both in our public meetings, and I guess things that I've heard on the street. As probably most of you know, this sets off the beginning of the council's deliberations, and we will really be getting into the details of what has been outlined beginning Wednesday, May the 29th, 28th, I guess. Wednesday's the 29th, and 30th, the council will be working in 2 full days to try to come together on a final budget. Again, I want to congratulate the manager and certainly the staff and the community for their input, and look forward to great deliberations and a lot of detail, and hopefully come up with a budget that I know won't satisfy everybody, but will satisfy this council as a minimum. Having said, Okay. Yeah, wait till you finish the budget. We made a slight change to allow the manager to present the budget, and we'll move back to the general business agenda with